Hey y'all, how you doing? Today I'm back at you again with another movie review, this time for the latest Spike Lee joint, Highest to Lowest, starring Denzel Washington, Jeffrey Wright, Ilfenesh Hadera, and ASAP Rocky. And of course, I am not going to explain what the synopsis of this movie is because it is a reinterpretation of Akira Kurosawa's High and Low, which was based on the novel King Ransom. So if you guys are familiar with the Kurosawa film, I mean, it's such a masterfully made movie from top to bottom, and I think that it is one of the best shot movies in history. I really do think it ranks up there with his best movies, probably right under Seven Samurai for me, and I think it's the standard for procedural films that came after the fact. And so I rewatched that again in preparation for seeing Highest to Lowest. And I heard pretty positive things about this movie coming out of the Cannes Film Festival, some things that are, kind of mixed when it comes to some of the ingredients of the movie, we may say. But I was hearing, very, very good reactions from people that I trust, people that I know. And so I was expecting maybe I wouldn't love it. And I was really enjoying, the first 25 minutes or so. And even then, some of the dialogue felt just a little off. So I was like, wondering where this is going. But, I was really, really getting invested in the story. And then everything starts to happen, and I think Spike Lee's worst tendencies get the best of him. And I really think that this is a very disappointing remake of High and Low, because having just seen that film, this does not hold a candle to the Akira Kurosawa film. Now, we can't really expect like it was going to, but it is Spike Lee. He's a very competent filmmaker, and at his best, he's one of the best filmmakers in history. So I really would have thought this collaboration with, his main leading man, Denzel, which is the first time they've made a movie since, I believe, Inside Man. So it's been quite some time, and, Denzel's been talking about retiring, so I don't know if we're ever going to get to see another Spike Lee and Denzel Washington collaboration again. But I will say Denzel's always on fire. He's great in this. He brings his typical charisma and gravitas to whatever he does, and I think that is more than certainly the case here. Jeffrey Wright, of course, is always reliable. I really liked him as his driver in this movie, and, basically his best friend as well. He gets a lot to do, I think, in the narrative, more than most. And ASAP Rocky, man, is just wilding out. By the end of this movie, he gets some really great moments as well, and I really am looking forward to seeing If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, what the work he does in that is, and just to see him pop up in more movies throughout the next few years and onwards. So, I'd say that's probably the best thing that I can say about the acting in this movie, because some of the performances are very hit or miss, I think, and is that the actor's fault? I don't know. I mean, those three brought it, but yet again, I don't think that the script is necessarily the most finely tuned of Spike Lee's filmography, and I just think there's so much about this movie that just feels so inherently awkward, whether it be some of the dialogue, some of the interactions. Some of the editing is really, really bad, throughout this entire movie. There's some cool, and motivated cuts, but those are very few and far between. A lot of this just felt like it was just kind of thrown together in the editing room. And I get that you could say The Five Bloods is indulgent. As much as I loved that movie, it was one of my top 10 movies of that year, I really do feel like even though he lets his tendencies, kind of get the best of him sometimes, that movie still felt like it was very well put together. This just feels very sloppy in so many ways, and I really wouldn't have expected that from Spike Lee. And also the score by Howard Drossen here is just absolutely atrocious. I mean, not the music itself, but this is the best way I can put it to you guys, right? I think it's like if you were making a college student film and you needed royalty-free music. Now, it might be perhaps the best arranged and the most melodic of all the royalty-free music you might find out there, but it completely evaporates all the tension that was supposed to be in these scenes. And especially after watching High and Low, that movie has so many ridiculously tense, like on the edge of your seat moments, where here it just feels like a wet fart. Like, I really don't understand it at all, especially the train sequence, which is so bizarrely off-putting in many other ways. And I have to mention, this is probably the most anti-Boston movie you will ever see in your life. Like, literally, Spike Lee has his characters yell at the camera about how much he hates Boston. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, this is actually, they break the fourth wall, it seems like. They look straight into the camera in typical Spike Lee fashion. And I just think that, as funny as it is, like, I was laughing a lot during this movie, but I didn't know if I was laughing because it's actually funny, or if it just felt out of place, or maybe it was a mix of both. I really think that could have been the case, but my goodness, this score especially really ruins a lot of these moments and makes it even more tonally confused than it already was. And what also just really rubbed me the wrong way about this movie is Denzel's character. Now, this is not a fault of Denzel at all. I already sung his praises. He's one of the greatest actors in history. But I feel like his reasoning in this movie for not putting up the ransom money just makes him seem more like a dick, where in High and Low, you completely understand why Toshiro Mifune's character is in the predicament he's in and why he doesn't want to give up the ransom money for this kid. And so this really felt to me like a very misguided approach at this story. Now, I do appreciate where they take Denzel's arc, and I have been thinking about it a little bit more as time goes on, and I think it does make sense, but I feel like the movie's like not focused enough where I can see all the steps come together, where it feels like, oh, like, well, that makes sense, you know, in a natural sort of progression. It just feels like some of the emotional conflict and tension is just kind of skipped over, and I really, really don't like that. Like, he has a lot of great ideas about, you know, how, let's say, a kidnapping in the age of social media, especially because Denzel's character is like this music mogul. There's a lot of, you know, eyes on him. The spotlight is there. Black Twitter is coming after his ass. I mean, there's so many things that I think are really interesting ideas, especially to get into and adapting this to a modern age, but I feel like ultimately a lot of these ideas seem superfluous under the style that just like drowns them all out. Like the final confrontation in High and Low, I mean, I won't give any spoilers for those who haven't seen that. In that movie, it is probably one of the most emotionally and intellectually thrilling moments of the film. And here it's just killed by Spike Lee's bombast and style. Like, the scene itself eventually gets to a really good place, but I feel like everything that came before it, it just undercuts everything that he's going for, and the movie goes on for way too long. It should have wrapped up like probably 15 minutes before it actually did. I had the same problem with BlacKkKlansman as well, and I would say that's a great film, even though if it's not one of my absolute favorites of Spike Lee's, at least that movie was a much better written and much better directed film. And I feel like here that definitely plays to the film's detriment, and I definitely think that this has one of the most eye-rolling, a couple of the most eye-rolling moments of the entire year when it comes to references and name drops. That's all I will say in that regard. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? And look, I really do love Spike Lee. I was looking forward to see what he was going to do with this, but this really could have had a couple more passes in the editing room, because this really does not feel like a finished product at all. And I don't think that it's bad. I think that there's a lot of great moments, and the needle drops in this movie are absolutely peak. I will say that. Some of the best needle drops I've heard in a movie in a long time, but other than that, I just feel like this movie is so scattershot in what it's trying to do, how it's presented, that it really does feel like another, I don't want to say flop for Spike Lee, but definitely a mediocre effort from one of the great filmmakers, American filmmakers that we have. And so I'm going to give highest to lowest a 5 out of 10. I'm really sorry to report, but I did not like this movie. And I know I might be in the minority a little bit on this, but I know a lot of people will agree with some of the criticisms that I presented, because I don't know, I just expect more from Spike Lee at this point. He'd been on such a run between BlacKkKlansman and The Five Bloods. I thought that this was going to hopefully be to a similar quality, but yet again, when he comes in and reinterprets movies, just like Oldboy, which I've not seen, but have only heard horrible things about, I just don't know if this is for him. I mean, I don't want to tell Spike Lee what stories he can or cannot make. I'm just sitting here, criticizing something that I didn't put the effort in to make, and I am completely cognizant of that fact. But I really do expect a lot more from Spike Lee, because I admire his work so much as a filmmaker, and I really, really want to see him stretch his legs and do something more, audacious, like The Five Bloods again. And yet again, I'm not asking him to make the same movie every time. I'm saying make something that is as bold as your previous work, and explore, these ideas in a very cohesive and fully formed way. But yet again, that's just my thoughts on Highest to Lowest. You can tell me down in the comments below if you agree with me or not. And please smash the like button if you like this review. If you want to see more reviews like this, we're about to gear up for TIFF. Very, very excited to get into all those movies. But I do have a few more coming your way before then. I even have an album review that I'll be dropping, and I'm very, very excited to talk about that and so much more. So until the next video, stay cool, and I'll talk to you soon.
I need some get back.